Let me show you how to find the ARV or the after repair value on houses you're trying to flip and wholesale. So I actually just got this house in from a wholesaler. So we're going to look at this one right here. It's off market, but I just pulled it up on Zillow anyways to help us out. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,600 square feet. And we want to scroll down and look at this. Year built was 1957 and has a 7,700 square foot lot. So we want to find a house that looks very similar to this and has the same metrics. We also need it remodeled in the same area. So let's take a look. So I'm actually going to open up a new tab and I'm going to search for Zillow. Zillow isn't necessarily the best for running comps. I usually like to use the actual Cincinnati MLS site, but it is free to use and it's a good way to just get a basic understanding of what your ARV numbers will be. I'm going to type in the city that I'm analyzing deals in. Then all the houses that are currently for sale will pop up. So now instead, I want to actually see the houses that have been sold in the area. I'm going to go to home type, make sure that only houses is checked because we're not analyzing any of these types of properties. And then I'm actually going to go to more. I'm going to scroll all the way down and under sold and last, I'm going to hit 90 days. I usually look at 6 months, but because the market has changed so much, I'm going to look at what has sold in the past 90 days and hit apply. Now all the homes that have sold in the last 90 days in Cincinnati are going to pop up. So I'm actually going to go back to the original house that we were looking at. I'm going to scroll down to the map because I want to see exactly where this house is located. It's in the Fairfield area, so I'm going to zoom in until I get to the right spot. Looks like we're going to be right on here, right under 275 and right next to 4. But I want to reference my map just to make sure. Yep, so our subject house is covered up by all of these dots is right here, right? So it is right under 275 and right next to 4, next to Springdale. So we are right in the right spot. And knowing this location is really, really important because when you are finding the ARV, you cannot or should not cross any major roads, especially highways like this. We want to look for comps or comparable properties as close to the subject property as possible. So subject property is right under Kemper Road, so I'm going to look there first. So remember, the house that we're looking at is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, about 1,600 square feet, built in 1957. So we want to find a house that is similar to that. Let's start taking a look here. I'm going to start with these because they're the closest. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. It looks pretty similar to ours and it's close in square footage size. So you want to be about 200 square feet plus or minus the subject property. So this will fit. It does have an extra bathroom though, so we might have to add that to get to this ARV right here. But it also looks like it needs some work. It doesn't necessarily look like it's remodeled. So let's try to find something else. This one's lower in price, but let's take a look. Definitely not remodeled, so let's keep looking. Let's look at these 200s up here, even though we're crossing Kemper, which I don't love to do, and we're crossing this road right here. Let's just take a look at what these could possibly be. This is a really small house, so that wouldn't be it. Look at this one. Oh, this one looks similar. It looks like it could be it. Let's take a look. Okay, so remember, this is our house. This is a subject. So it's pretty similar in look, I would say. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. So we would have to add that extra bathroom to get the 278 number. Let's see when it was built, 1963. So that's pretty comparable to where we're at. Let's take a look at the actual remodel. Scroll through it. Let's see how nice of a job they did. It's definitely nice. Definitely is remodeled, which is awesome. So I think this is going to be one of our strongest comps, but let's keep looking. One more thing I'm going to look for is how many days on market this comp has been on market before it was sold. So this information is super important right here because this allows you to see what the sales history is like, right? So the person who flipped it bought it for $100 grand back in April. They listed it on the market in November for $285,000 and they ended up putting it into escrow about 4 days later and then sold it in December for a little bit under what they listed it at. So this is a really strong comp and I would say that this is the perfect property to use to price out our house. Even though that house looks pretty good and I think we can use it as one of our comps, I still want to look around on the MLS to see what else has sold and what's currently on the market. This will give me a better estimate of what the actual ARV number will be when I go to sell it in a few months. But everything I did to find that comp right there is basically what I'm just going to do again for about 3 to 5 times to see what other houses have sold and just what other comps there are on the market to price out my property. And that's how you find the ARV. What other questions do you have about flipping houses? Let me know in the comments.